program in the third row, in the uniform. I request you, can you please stand? And everybody should clap for her. So this is the beauty of India today, that girl of that age, they are getting the opportunity to attend this kind of program. Probably in our time we have never dreamed that also, which is happening in reality. And coming back to this topic, this renewable energy, non-fossil energy generation, energy transition, decarbonization, because this is the essential condition for us to enable the earth to be with us, for making us livable, not only us, but also every creature of the world. So the global system has to sustain, so we are working on that. It is not just sustainability of energy and all, it is sustaining the life. Coming back to IREDA, as you said, yes, we are 3.5 decade old, 35-year-old organization. In the first session, you all have listened our Director Technical, Mr. Chintan Sir, who has already announced here or clarified here that we are the unique organization probably in the entire world who is only dealing in green financing. Think about an organization since 35 years before working on this line. And we all should be grateful to our forefathers who instituted this organization, and to our ministry and Government of India, who they thought 35 years back that such kind of organization is there and who is going to lead. All the financial data, my Director Technical has already shared. I am not going to talk much on that, and those you will be getting in the website also. 3 information only I will give. The rate in which renewable energy growth happening across globe in the 8 to 9%. In India it is happening around 17%. The CAGR of IREDA is happening around 22%. So which is communicating, India is leading from front in RE development globally. If you see within India, IREDA is leading from front. As you all know that we are having the largest loan book size. You take any example of bank or NBFC in India, true renewable, if you take out this large hydro, because of the new definition of RE large hydro, 2 years back, I think 19N, now entire hydro is coming in RE. But otherwise, in true sense, what the earlier definition was, we are having the largest. We also started considering the larger hydro project with us. And IREDA has been playing a motherly role kind of thing, not only through financing, but also hand-holding Government of India MNRE Ministry for all kind of policy formulation, development, policy implementation in the role of nodal agency, be it subsidy, grant, viability gap funding, etc., etc. Right now also we are designated as the nodal agency for PLI-1, which is for manufacturing of solar modules and cells, integrated modules and cells. And we are also the nodal agency for the bio policy recently announced. We are already the nodal agency for generation-based incentives. As far as finance is concerned, many of you must be developers or strategic business partners or aspiring to be contributing to the RE development to reach to this 500 gigawatt. When you conceive the idea, you look back to your earlier developers. From them you get the historic data and experience and expertise. Once you conceive the idea, then you approach to us, banker. Banking is nothing like an oxygen in a business system. And bankers play a very crucial role. If you see conventional power and renewable power, both are completely different as far as banking is concerned. Almost 20 to 30% is your debt cost in a project. And post commissioning, 70 to 80% is your debt cost only, finance cost only. So finance is very crucial and critical activity in RE development. And post COD, all your projects are very liquid kind of thing if you are having PPA. And even if you are not having PPA today in the open access, the kind of rate you are getting, people are feeling if you are not having PPA, it is better also. We have seen in recent couple of months back what the rate was in open access. Now, as I said, finance, we are living the era of LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization. Everybody has their taste, choice and preference to live. They can prefer the lender, whoever serving them the best. Serving when I'm talking during construction period, what kind of turnaround time you can guarantee them, what kind of clarity in your communication, correspondence, commitment to be clear. Post COD, largely it is your interest cost. IREDA has been very dynamic in addressing those dynamic situations in the industry in last 3 to 4 years. One example I am giving, last 2 years, 9 months, we have not increased our interest rate so far. And you all know, last 1.5 years, how the repo rate has gone up, roughly 240 pips has gone up. Despite that, we have not enhanced our interest rates. We speaks, we understand the sector pretty well, and we have the mechanism in place to understand the sector. Probably we are the only non-banking finance company who is having a very close interaction with our stakeholders, that is our borrowers as well as the lenders. Every quarter, we are a debt-listed company, publish our result, notify in paper and stock exchange, then immediately we call for a borrower's bid and we discuss with them, because we consider it is their contribution which has reflected in our financial statement. We have earned our bread butter from our borrowers. So there is a complete change in the thought process, how a lender is looking at the developer. I consider, or rather in IREDA, we have developed a concept of spouse relationship when we talk about developing RE project, supporting finance and other things. You have to be fully transparent in your approach and sharing information. Those are gone days. You can hide something, can submit some document, take the loan, then play with this. Those are gone days. We are living in the era of information. Anything you do, your neighbor is going to report us immediately if you are doing something wrong. And we are in the era of so much of social media, WhatsApp and other things. What we do, that also get reflected to you immediately. And the kind of quality governance what we enable, our lenders, that means from where we borrow, you take any developmental, multi-developmental banks and other bilateral agencies, World Bank, JICA, KFW, ADB, AFD, anybody, they preferred IREDA as the most preferred location for routing their funds. We are having a very mature relationship of 3 decades with them. Since 1990, we are having associations with them. They know the way we perform, and we know what kind of expectation they have from us, or from a lender, or from a project, with respect to quality of governance and ensuring the sustainability in that governance. If you allow me to divide RE into 2 parts, one is traditional RE, one is emerging RE. That was your point. Correct. That's what we are planning. Which are traditional today. When I'm saying traditional RE, it is solar, wind and hydro. You do not have much asymmetry in information there. Sector is pretty mature with creation of SECI, and you have seen how the solar sector has been matured and how the prices have come down. In the earlier session, already it was told from 24 rupees, you have come down to 2 rupees, 2 rupee 40 paisa per unit. So, SECI through demand aggregation and bidding and etc., they could ensure that how the fastest development can happen when government is only enabling the policy, not in coming into your business operation and all. So, our Honorable Prime Minister, he himself commits X amount of target and he himself commits ease of doing business. Couple of information I will give which you might not have seen in public domain. If you have seen, you might not have noticed. When I am talking ease of doing business, probably we are the first NBFC or bank who has sanctioned loan without the borrower physically visiting to our office. 7 to 8 loan we have sanctioned. We started the process in COVID time. And out of that 7, 8, they are not A-rated borrower. They are not publicly listed. 4, 5 are startups. That was the objective. We want inclusive growth. Government of India wants inclusive growth. And this renewable energy development is not the responsibility of alone Prime Minister of India or Government of India or IREDA or some of the developers. I think it should be the responsibility of every citizen of India, every living human beings on the world. Because when we talk about decarbonization, first we have to ensure our lifestyle. We should stop creating kachara, dirt. Whatever kachara we have created or creating, we should immediately transform into waste to energy. As he said, we have entire gamut of products, not only for renewable energy projects, but entire value chain. E-mobility, I think in the exhibition you can see that Sun Mobility car is there, behind that IREDA logo is there. That is a case. They are also a startup. We have sanctioned them 3,400 cars. As per them, prior to coming to IREDA, they were traveling many places. Their project was not bankable. We had to sit, discuss, restructure the transaction in such a manner it is very bankable today. And I can guarantee you, not only IREDA, wherever they go, any lender will be ready to lend them. Recently, you might have seen in the metro, Delhi metro stations, NCR metro stations, lot of e-rickshaws are running. You will be surprised to know at what rate they are borrowing. Around 30 or 35% interest cost. Because if you see, as a borrower, they do not have any profile. Only the Aadhaar card and bank account. So as a lender, when you are lending them, then you need to have the robust mechanism in place to ensure that your account is not becoming an NBI. You need to have that kind of infra. But look at the other side. The poor rickshaw fellow, probably he is the last leg in your banking value chain. Recently we have sanctioned to NBFC, who is a microfinance company, because we do not have retail infra with us. Through that, we are ensuring the interest cost should not go beyond 18. They have confirmed us within 17.6, they are going to do it. Think about the interest they were charging around 30 to 36, it is coming down to this. Half of the cost, it is getting reduced. And our team had to work quite hard on this issue. And you see, whenever any new thing comes, as a financer, there is a huge asymmetry in information. As a financer, we always take a step backward before we take a step forward. Wait and watch and other things. Now, whenever you travel to Delhi and NCR or even Northeast, we have sanctioned them. They will be putting into behind all the rickshaws. You will find the IREDA name, like you have seen in the Blue Smart car. IREDA name is there. Now, IREDA has done a lot of work in last 35. Market is there, so you have to make it green to make the market successful, and only the question of bringing it to down. Similarly, offshore wind. If you look at 20 years back, the solar per unit was 20 rupees, 24 rupees, 28 rupees, something like that. It is now 10% of that. Today, offshore wind, it is coming in the range of 17 to 18, 11 to 12, in that range the cost is. Certainly it is not viable. So Government of India has already considered 2 zones. One is Gujarat, other one is Tamil Nadu. And perhaps for Gujarat, government they have notified. I'm not recollecting that. And very soon these 2 zones, offshore wind will be there. First of all, wherever, whatever resource available if the input is free, we should access to that. Initially the cost will be more, but with the scale in operation and improvement in technology, the cost is going to be economical and commercially not only viable, successful.
Very good.
And IREDA is well prepared for it. Any kind of new product, any kind of new requirement in the emerging sector also. We are trying to improve our technical skills through various training and development programs, locally and global experts by handholding them. And we are putting the product in place so that the developer need not worry. And I know when since 35 years we have been doing this, the expectation from IREDA is now pretty huge. Since our balance sheet size was pretty small, with the support of Government of India, 1,500 crore equity infusion happened last year. And Government of India has already given us dividend exemption. This is the 4th year in a row. And we are coming to IPO market next year. Already Secretary Deepam has announced couple of days back. It is going to be in 23-24 fiscal. With the equity infusion, we had a plan in 2021 to go to 5-time growth in 5 years. That is completely in realignment of the 500 gigawatt of target. But I think we are going to achieve that 5-time growth before 5 years, maybe in 4 years. Because in 1 year, now it is the second year, we have grown more than double. And whatever new products are coming, and in that value chain, whatever, my request to you all here, you find that IREDA's policy is not commensurate with the sector's requirement, please do send a mail to us. Please visit our website, you will find all the details. We have exhibited true intent and spirit, ease of doing business in place. Send a mail, you will get a virtual link connection if discussion will be required. And we have taken all kind of possible measures to ensure the best governance in place. When I am talking best governance, we are the first public sector in the history who have published the statutory audited result in 30 days time when SEBI allows us 60 days time. And probably we are the only private sector, only corporate in India who is doing full audit of the quarterly results. That means our process, our records, our information is fully sanitized. Thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you, Mr. Das. And clearly it shows the wealth of work that is being done. And you were saying IREDA acts as a mother. I would say it's also Big Daddy, carrying the responsibilities of all and the wealth of knowledge that he had imparted. Let me quickly move on, just for your thoughts, Shivanji, on the challenges that you see going forward, right? So there is of course scaling up this project, but then evacuating and transmission. You talked about the Ladakh, the budget highlights, many things that are there. But what more do you think needs to happen at an intra-state level, the federal and central coordination on transmission and offtake? What are your thoughts on that to scale up?
Yeah. In order to accelerate, there are a couple of things which are necessary. I think one is in terms of improving the financial health of the distribution companies. One is the LPS scheme that has come out, but however, the Electricity Act amendment is still awaiting. I think hopefully if that can be expedited, that would really bring in a whole lot of change. The second aspect is really around creating the carbon market, where we have talked about it. I think if India, along with other countries, Europe and others, could clearly establish a clear carbon market, that would help to incentivize a lot of technology in terms of the viability gap funding or the financial gap that is there in terms of absorption of the technology. The other aspect also in terms of energy transition is we may have to live with oil and gas. So one of the focus that is required in terms of carbon abatement is really carbon capture. So if we are able to address that particular issue also, that will really take care of it. We've been talking about hydrogen and ammonia, the cost at which currently they are there. So in order to create a demand, potentially like when solar started, we had high tariff, but we had a viability gap funding, or when wind started, we had the generation-based incentive scheme. So some of those schemes, if they are brought in, that will kickstart the, demand side, and hopefully, we should see a more, demand coming in and then the costs coming down correspondingly. On the transmission side, I think we should look at expanding more areas other than Ladakh also. There is a lot of resources where we have wind and solar, but we don't have the inter-transmission capability. So that's another area where, that could really help. So I think given these measures, we should be able to see the 500 gigawatt that we are targeting by 2030, we should be able to achieve that.
Excellent. No, absolutely. And as possibly maybe even bring it forward as the government is looking. And now coming finally to you, Vijay, and we'll try to wrap it up. The last question that I had to you was, again about, it's a challenge, feedstock for bioenergy companies, but also the concept of circular economy, right? How can we complete the circle, and how can that also be an enabler for us to scale up? So your thoughts on that?
Thank you so much. Again, I got to speak last from beginning to ending. So on the subject of circularity and going sustainable and going clean, so we have always had this thing that going clean is always profitable. So it is supremely profitable, like how we were just discussing under our group, be it the sugar production, be it cement production, be it biofuels, all of them. We are having a policy where we need to go completely green. By green we mean the energy that we require to produce sugar, cement, all of these comes from our cogeneration during the first half, that is between October to April. That is when the sugar season is on. So all the power that we generate, close to 230 odd megawatts of power, comes from biomass, which is the residual waste of sugarcane. So about 230 megawatts of power, when it is generated from agricultural residue, which is being produced by a farmer, that power, that energy is powering our industries, it is powering the houses around our districts, it is powering the many governmental projects that they have taken up. It is a very beautiful circularity that we have created. See, he is giving me sugarcane and he is taking back power to grow sugarcane again. Not just that, in our infrastructure of sugarcane, energy by large is not just power and biofuels, also fertilizers. Organic fertilizers are developed under infrastructures like ours, which is giving power to them, and it is absolutely clean. We are not extracting ammonia, we are not bringing out any other of these harmful chemicals like DAP or all of these. We are giving them pure pressed mud or organic fertilizer, which is put back into their fields for their energy requirement. Similarly, biofuels that we are producing, that is ethanol, be it, there is going to be butanol. Butanol is going to be one of the major ingredients for sustainable aviation fuel. All of these are coming from one product, again, sugarcane. The potential that the country has with just one product of sugarcane or agricultural residue by large, if I say, if we are able to produce the primary product, sugar, and the allies of sugar, power, biofuels, be it methane, be it fertilizer, be it ethanol, be it butanol, powering human body, be it alcohol. Alcohol to, see, you can power your human bodies to the aeroplanes that are flying, to your ground that is giving you food. It is a superb circularity that we have still yet to tap, and their government is giving us a lot of pressure. I understand I'm the last speaker, so we have wrapped up the time. The most important point I want to make is that it is commendable what institutes like IREDA are doing to a lot of projects like ours. See, it is the financial partners, if they don't come forward and trust on these circularity and they don't give us boost, our projects are only going to be in conceptual stage. Also, I take this great opportunity to thank the Honorable Chief Minister. See, when he took Vijay Nirani's name, it is not me, it is the 300,000 farmers that we work with directly. It is the 70,000 employees that are there in the MRN group. It is all their hard work, and it is financial partners that we have on board, including IREDA. So all of them give us support, which is why the CM could take our name. So we give great regards, and I understand it's time. Thank you so much for for having us here. So circularity and going green has a great potential. Great profitability is my bottom line. With that, thank you for this.
Thank you so much, Vijay. And absolutely, time is up, but we could have probably gone on for hours. I would thank the organizers that we kept the best for last. So I think it was a very engaging discussion, and we probably touched upon some of the things. But I think one last takeaway or message that I have is that renewable energy can give significant parts to the community, and to make renewable energy work or scale up, it has to create that community system, which is what we are seeing as a community here, right? Mentorship, financial guidance, sectoral guidance, and giving back to the society. With that takeaway as a bright thought for the future, let me conclude here and thank my panelists once again. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Manas, thank you so much. And again, what a lively conversation, full of passion, commitment, great energy there. So we really, really appreciate all of our great speakers. We appreciate their great work, their commitment, and the tremendous efforts that's going on there. That was Manas, thank you so much. Again, really a lively conversation. So just bear with us for a couple of moments, because we are at that point of the day. Thank you for speeding it up. The Express tour, thank you so much. We're at that time of day now. We need to shuffle around a little bit of furniture and everything. It'll take us literally minutes. So stay with us. So we're really now coming to the close of a fabulous 3 wonderful days of absolute engagement, I think, from all of our tremendous speakers from around the world. I think they've all really did what they came here to do, and I always said when we started this that we hoped that you would be leaving here engaged, informed, educated, and hopefully inspired. Our job was not to answer the questions maybe on your mind. Hopefully you got some answers, but if anything, maybe to have you rethink and plant a few issues around your brain for you to think, what are we doing now? What can we do to speed up the acceleration? Because I really believe that the commitment and the courage that we've heard, the bold steps that are being taken here by industry, by government, by international organizations who came out in force to totally support what's going on here. I think we saw IRENA, we saw OPEC, we saw the International Energy Agency, the International Energy Forum. All of the key players came to this very, very important India Energy Week, and I think that is just testament to the tremendous power and the tremendous focus and the tremendous potential that is here in this country. The great companies that have been on exhibition for the last few days, I hope you've had time to visit them. When we finish here with the Minister, there might be a chance to do a last-minute visit on your way out, but His Excellency will be joining us in just a couple of minutes, so don't dare move. Make sure you're sitting comfortably, and he will be here, and you know we're all looking forward to hearing from him. His words of inspiration, I think himself and the Honourable Prime Minister on the opening day really set the scene for what's going on in India. And I think without a doubt, bringing together all of the government bodies, all of the government employees, I think that whole momentum that is happening coming from the government side to be the true enabler of the energy transition in this country. I think it was made very, very clear how serious everybody takes the energy transition, the move to net zero, and I think we look at the finance that needs to be in place, the committed finance that is already there, and I think that the ability to go make sure they search for the rest of the finance that's going to be needed. So we're going to get everything ready in a couple of minutes, and our dear colleague Anish Day is going to take over. He's a partner with KPMG, and you've heard him moderate a couple of sessions already. We've had Anish up here talking, so I'm looking forward to having him have a chat with the ministers, and we've got a few small things we need to do. We've got a few awards and recognition, and we'll have a chat with the minister just to see what's been on his mind. He has been, without a doubt, the busiest man, I think, for the last few days. I saw him at the crack of dawn, and then maybe at the dawning of the day. He really put in his time. I think he's been a tremendous host to all of our international guests who've been here, and he really has taken the time for all of the meetings with ministers from around the world, with the international organizations, with experts, and indeed I'm sure with so many of you as well. So we're always really honored to have him, and he's certainly been put to work over the last few days. But it's been, I think, a tremendous show, and I think you should all be very, very proud of the great work that's going on in this country and the great future that we have to look forward to. And I see we have some young students here. It's all ahead of you. This is, I suppose, the learning spot for you. And I think the transfer of knowledge and information that is happening at the moment is very, very exciting. As I said, India already has a great reputation around the world as being incredible India, and I think that now moves to the energy sector, the manufacturing sector, the industrial sector, all of which of course will drive the economy, it'll drive the environment, and more importantly, I think we're going to see that holistic approach that's happening in the coming years here that will make sure that there's a free and just transition and there's energy for all. Ultimately, that's what has to happen in every corner of this country. So we're almost ready. We're just going to leave it for a couple of minutes and let you all relax for a minute or two, and then you'll all be ready and waiting for us. And just keep an eye out. His Excellency and the entourage will be arriving in just a couple of minutes, but be sure and stay, because we're literally minutes away, I promise you. So thank you all. I'll come back to wrap it all up for you later and bid you farewell, but for the moment it's sort of cheerio for a few minutes. That's what it is about. And the Minister will be back up here, so we're really looking forward to his inspiring words, the last bit of energy from him. Thank you so much, and stay with us, and we'll have that closing ceremony in just a couple of minutes. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. We just wanted to check if the winners of the startup competition are here. So if you're here, if you could come to the front seats, please. Hi, good evening again. Could I have the representatives from VDT, that's VDT Pipeline, come to the front, please? Thank you.
Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, friends. Like all good things, this must also come to an end. This exciting show over the past 3 days, those conversations, those touch and feel which we saw across these 3 days, across the many halls, all of them have kept us energized. It's made me energized, exhilarated, and sometimes exhausted. So it has been truly 3 wonderful days. And it is my honor and privilege to anchor this closing session. My name is Anish Dey. I lead the oil and gas energy sector, energy, natural resources and chemical sector for KPMG globally. And I have had the privilege of working with the ministry closely, but I have rarely seen something of this size, scale, and ambition playing out. So we have this closing ceremony and closing event where we have a few things. But as we go into it, without further ado, may I request Honorable Minister Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas, and Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs to please come on the stage, sir. Also, Shri Pankaj Jain, Secretary, Petroleum and Natural Gas, please join us on the stage. So I'm sure you'll agree that this is something which we have never seen in India before. the scale of things, certainly not in the energy sector. And through the journey I have personally traveled, I've never seen something like this. And this is just the first India Energy Week. It's such a fantastic start. I'm just excited about what will come as we go forward into the future. So as we close this event, we have a few things lined up. We have, we had many things. We of course had the conversations, the sessions, the panels, the addresses, the exhibition, the fantastic exhibition, but we also had a few things which happened alongside. We had an essay contest where we had the youth of the region, of the state participate. And about 300 schools in Bangalore and around participated in that contest. It was conducted in Hindi, English and Kannada, had over 2,000 entries around the topic of energizing
speakers on the
life,
side. Ask for another speaker to be put behind door.
which is life being the mission for lifestyle and environment, which Honorable Prime Minister has laid out as an absolute clear direction for all of us to have. 10 best entries have been selected, and today we have with us the parents and teachers of the winning students. Now, people who have evaluated this absolutely swear by the quality of the entries, and it was no order or ranking amongst those 10. In fact, those 10 were very difficult to select and there's no order. So I'm going to call out those names in alphabetical order for the students to come and receive their certificates from Honorable Minister and be congratulated by Secretary. So first we will have A. Lalitanjali. Lalitanjali, please come on the stage and receive your certificate from Honorable Minister. Congratulations, Lalitanjali. Many congratulations again, Lalitanjali. Do stay on the stage at the other corner. If you could stay there, we will. Please come over here and tell us.
I'm told something like 2,000 students participated. Out of them, 10 are being awarded today. So when I congratulated this young lady, what's your name?
Lalitanjali, sir. Lalitanjali.
Lalitanjali. I said, are you happy? She said, yes, she's happy because she's being appreciated. I said, but what are you going to do with the gift voucher? So she did not know that she's getting a gift voucher. So I'm now going to ask her, what are you going to do with 10,000 rupees of Amazon?
So, as usual, I'm going to just browse something and whatever attracts me. I'm fond of watches, wristwatch. So maybe I'm just going to buy one.
Well, whatever you do with it, I'm sure you will make a mature choice. Heartiest congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's not just the gift voucher, but also some additional goodies which are going to be there. Lalitanjali, stay on the stage. I'm going to call next Aditi R to come over and receive a certificate. Aditi, please come. Please stay on the stage, Aditi. We will have a group photograph together. Next, we have Benina Hemant. Please come over, Benina. We have next Geetika D, please come over. Next is Mrinali Bhatt, please come over. Next is Bhavna Bhatt, please come over. We have next Samyak Shetty. Samyak, please come. Spandana Kulkarni, please come over. Trisha PN, please come over, Trisha. And finally, Tia Chopra, please come, Tia. May I now request all the awardees to come forward and have a common photograph with Honorable Minister and Secretary, sir. You can be on both sides. Thank you, and do collect your vouchers and the other goodies as you go. They will be provided to you. Congratulations again. Thank you. Now, it is not just about awarding or recognizing young individuals. The Honorable Prime Minister and Honorable Minister have been consistently recognizing the value the youth of the country bring in different forms, and this includes young companies. We had 20 startups participate in Hall 3 and Hall 5 of this event, and they were all high quality. But if we had to award a few of them, there had to be a process, and that process was led by Shri Sarthak Behuria, former chairman of BPCL and Indian Oil. And out of those three, Out of those 20, 3 have been selected, and I'm going to call on those 3 best companies to come and take their awards for being the best startups at IEW 2023. First is Beta Tank Robotics Private Limited. Please come over. Thank you. The next is Kalisha Private Limited. Please come over. And finally, thank you. And finally, we have. Sorry.
Take the stage for a moment. Yes. Sorry to disturb the flow of the session. I wanted to take a moment to thank Oil India Limited for our support. Actually, we started when we were in college, and Oil India supported us at that point in time when nobody believed in us, and that's the moment they came up, and we are really grateful to Oil India for all their support that they've given. And currently we are 25 years of age. The average age of our founders is 25 years. We are hopeful that you see us around for next 30 to 40 years in the industry. Thank you.
Well said, and indeed we just must appreciate the support provided to these young companies by our PSUs, oil PSUs. It's just absolutely fantastic. The overall energy industry in general, but the oil PSUs have systematically made that happen. The third company is VDT Pipeline Integrity Solutions Private Limited. Please come over. Congratulations again. Now, while we close, and I know that the Honorable Minister has very little time, so if you take your seat, sir. We do want to hear from him about this inaugural IEW. You know, the scale, as I said, the grandeur, everything, the impact is completely different. And as I said, I have been absolutely exhilarated, engaged in this whole thing, and in some sense exhausted. I just wanted to ask Honorable Minister, how is he feeling now at this time about the past 3 days?
When I came in here, I heard my friend say, energized, he used the word energized, and then he said, but also exhausted. Let me tell you, with the benefit of my advantage in terms of age over you, the best form of exhaustion is the energized form.
Absolutely.
And therefore, I think all our friends who are here, entrepreneurs, 10 youngsters who participated in essay competition. By the way, did you notice 9 of them were young ladies? So, I asked the sole young man, I said, what is it? He said, you have to admit, they're a little better at expressing and articulating. And I said to myself, this really is what the Honorable Prime Minister talks about in terms of Mahila Sashактikaran. Don't you agree with all that? So, then the startups, the exhibitors, They came from all over the world. The Indian exhibitors, the people who represent governments. And I think one thing we are all agreed, I mean, some of these satisfaction or joy an individual takes back may be slightly different. But I think I heard from everyone that they thought it was an excellent opportunity for us in India to have an India Energy Week, which will give our participants in the ecosystem, all the stakeholders, another bit of encouragement to showcase what India is doing, to strike business deals, etc. So I'm sorry I've given a long-winded answer to a very clear question. It's a good feeling.
It's a very, very
And you
good
said
feeling.
good things must come to an end. No, I want to nuance that. We are going to make this an annual event. An annual event means if you think you are happy this year, we will announce the activities beforehand, at least 6 months beforehand for the next event. Participate, and I would like that annual institutionalized event to build on what we have done this year, to tweak areas where we could have done better, and take this so that it becomes an India-hosted but global platform. Thank you very much, Anish.
Thank you. And you know, Honorable Minister has a knack of anticipating things and questions honed by his experience over the years in diplomacy and in politics. So he's already answered my second question about how he sees the future of the India Energy Week. But I have a related question. It's not just about the Energy Week, but it's a vision that the country has, the Prime Minister has laid out, you have propagated. How does the India Energy Week take that vision ahead, say 3, 4, 5 years?
Look, I joined the Council of Ministers in September, on September 3rd, 2017. I have been associated with the petroleum and natural gas portfolio since, I think, 9th July of 2021. One thing is absolutely clear, that the Prime Minister's vision, now I can tell you there is a general vision which has several components. One of them is that India will be a Viksit Desh or a developed country by 2047. That's a very clear statement of intent. It also introduces policy. On climate change, you know, the Honorable Prime Minister changed and radically transformed the Indian position. Earlier we were hiding behind the fact that, you know, we are not the real polluters, you know, the other guy is more responsible. We still maintain that, you know, common but differentiated responsibility position. But I think the Prime Minister was very clear. We owe a duty. We have a duty to our next generation. So the Indian line on climate is a very responsible line, and we have a certain objective, net zero by 2070. We'll do it much before that we will reduce so many billion tons by such and such year. That's one. But there is also the Atmanirbharta, and that translates itself into every form of the energy equation. We have 3.5 million square kilometers of sedimentary basin. Since 1947, we never exploited more than 6% of it. The Honorable Prime Minister has accelerated that. Recently, he took a decision, 1 million square kilometers, which was no-go area, is now made available for E&P. Data is freely made available, so it's no surprise, my friend, that not only KPMG, but all the oil companies are here. They want to work with us and they want to work with you in order to be able to drastically increase domestic E&P. The same is the story on the green transition. We were stuck at 1.4% of biofuel blending till 2014. The Honorable Prime Minister set a target of November 2022 for 10% blending. We did it 5 months before time. We had a target of 20% biofuel blending for 2030. We are going to do it 5 years in advance by 2025. Now, since this is as good a setting as any, when I was going through the exhibition today, I came to a stall, I think was it HPCL, Rasal, HPSL. They had a little device there. They said they've got it from a European country. And they said if you take that device and put it into a car, a normal engine, instead of being able to take E20, it can take E85 fuel. Can anyone not see the enormous potential that there is there? Why are we so happy about ethanol, even at 10%? Because 10% blended fuel means we save 41,000 crores, which is nearly $6 billion. But apart from the saving of $6 billion, we also gave $6.5 billion to our farmers. So today the people who are coming and meeting me in this technology hub, Bengaluru, are farmers, are people who are wanting to make ethanol from bamboo in the northeast, people who are very happy that we are having more ethanol produced from maize, from other feeds. Equally, when you look at the green hydrogen story, you know, when the Honorable Prime Minister said from the ramparts of the Red Fort that we will take up the production of green hydrogen in mission mode, the message went to all of us. But sometimes my friends in the private sector said, "Abhi kuch ho nahi raha, kuch nahi ho raha." Billions of dollars was coming in on investment on different parts of the energy matrix. But then the cabinet took a decision to set aside 19,700 crores for PLI scheme for the manufacture of electrolyzers. The recent budget has provision, and people are calling it the green budget. This is work which has just started. How does it fit into the India Energy Week? This is one place where these conversations can be had amongst the rest of us. You know, day before yesterday, when the Honorable Prime Minister, in spite of his so many competing pressures on his time, he unveiled 3 initiatives. One, E20 or 20% blended fuel, which was scheduled to come on the market in April. He inaugurated the entry of that in, 85 pumps in different states. It's a pilot project, but soon we will go on increasing till we get 100% E20 blended fuel available till 2025. Some time ago, the Honorable Prime Minister from the ramparts of the Red Fort said, we are slowly but surely going to move towards reduction of single-use plastics and their ultimate elimination. Now, this is a highly educated global audience. You know what havoc single-use plastics are causing? There are mountains of that single-use plastic the size of countries and continents floating on the ocean. People discard them, they're casual about them, and then they cause environmental degradation, they cause havoc. And the Prime Minister set us through his inspiration and guidance that we have a situation in, can you put single-use plastic to good use? Now, I'm also Minister for Housing and Urban Affairs. I know where single-use plastics are being used to pave roads, etc. But it is also used to make fabrics. So, kitna? 10 crore? 10 crore PET bottles will be used every year to make fabric. The Indian Oil Corporation presented the Honorable Prime Minister with a jacket, a Modi jacket, at day before yesterday. And ladies and gentlemen, my friends, you know he's wearing it in Parliament today. As he's speaking in response to the Honorable President's address to the Parliament, he's wearing that light blue colored pet jacket. So I could give you practical examples.
Yeah, but you have very little time. I have been warned that you have a flight to catch, so I must bring it to close. I must also mention, but without, it will be remiss of me not to mention, that as a professional, I have seen the toughest of challenges being turned into opportunities like nobody has done in the last few years. And that's an absolute honest observation. So we have to close, but in closing, in short, what is your message to the IEW audience? a short summary.
Well, first of all, before I give any message, I want to say something straight from my heart. A lot of people come up with good ideas. Then based on that idea, you conceptualized it, you set itself a target. But in order to implement that, you need great effort and implementing skills. So let me start by thanking my colleague, Mr. Jain, who is the secretary in the ministry. Through him, the officials, Aisha, the other officials, and through Mr. Jain again, the oil marketing companies, who did not treat this as a India Energy Week for the ministry. They treated this as a joint effort. I want to thank the other agencies which have collaborated with us. I want to thank everyone. So if this is a 3-day event from which we can go, I would have to name each one of you, those who compared sessions, those who moderated them. They'll take too much time. I'll probably write a letter of thanks to each one of you very soon. But the message that comes in, there is a need for the narrative on all segments of the energy ecosystem to be addressed. And what better way can you address it than through collaborative effort of the governments, of the private sector, of the young startups, of the business communities and the entrepreneur. And I think what you saw here is a global mix of people representing all those segments. And I want to thank the government of Karnataka, the Honorable Minister who's here, through him the Chief Minister, because it shows that we all take collective pride in the fact that there's something nice happening in the energy sector. Our indigenization, our innovation, the solar cooktop. I mean, it's not something relevant just for the global south. I think there will be a replicability even in the industrialized west. I also saw an ethanol cooking stove. A lot of my friends from African countries were very keen on it. So these are places you come, display your ideas, show your contribution, and then that's how you come with tie-ups. My one message is, see you again next year in Goa. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So with that, we will bring this session to a conclusion. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Secretary, sir. We will bring this to a conclusion and we will continue in Goa next year. So till then, do keep collaborating, do keep engaging. There'll be many forums, but we'll bring again all of us together next year. I am indeed looking forward to that. So thank you for being here in force, and we bring the event to a close.